Welcome back, everybody. In case you missed it, we just did a class on Google Business Profile that went amazing. It was really good, and we're actually going to do it again.
Because we get that right now everything is crazy expensive. And so we've been really trying to focus on things that you all can do that are cheap or nearly free. This one is setting up your Google Business Profile is free.
Yep.
And we do have a free download for that. If you haven't done it yet, we'll put it in the show notes. We'll link to that because setting up your profile is free. So that's your very, very first step. So we've got, like I said, a free download for that. But then once you set up your profile, there is ways to optimize it so you can rank even higher and you can do even better using this free tool, because most people search on Google. Just that, I don't remember the stat on it, but it's like 80-some%.
Yeah, it's like 86% of people search
on Google.
Yep.
So why not use this? There is a fee for the class, but it is $50.
Yep.
It's not expensive. Because we want you all to be able to rank on Google using this tool. So like I said, we've done the class once. It went over so well. We're going to do it again. It's going to be on March 13th, I believe.
March 13th.
It's in the evening, 6 p.m. Central. So if you are interested in how you can use this free tool to rank even higher, get found online, and especially it's for like local rankings, especially if you've got somebody who's Googling, landscaper near me, you want to be, if not the first, definitely at the very, very top of that. And we get into the nitty gritties of all of us in that class. So if you don't have a Google Business Profile yet, get our free download and get that set up, because you will need that set up in order to fully take advantage of the class that we are going to have on March 13th, because we want you all ranking higher on Google.
Yeah, definitely check it out. We had people like raving about it. One person reached out and said, thank you. We're going to save him a bunch of money because he's actually hired somebody else to take care of this. And we showed him how simple it was. And now he's going to take care of himself. And
you can absolutely do this.
Yeah,
don't be intimidated. Because Scott is actually the one that knows how to do all this. And I know a very small amount about it. And so I'm on I attend the classes as well. And so I ask all the questions. So don't ever be afraid if you do attend live. Ask questions in the chat. We will answer all of the questions, because I ask questions that Scott is probably rolling his eyes at. But guess what? He knows how to do it and I don't. And so I just like to make sure it's really clear. So if you've never messed with anything like that, don't be afraid. Just show up. We'll get your questions answered. Use this amazing tool.
Yeah, it's a very affordable workshop, guys. You're going to get so much out of it. We share a bunch of bonus videos afterwards and handouts and stuff. So it's definitely worth the money. So
absolutely. Go to milliondollarlandscaper.com. There'll be links for it all on there.
Yeah, gbpworkshop.com, or GBP workshop, I should say. So
you just boogered that. milliondollarlandscaper.com /GBP workshop.
Yes, not.
That was, I don't know what he was talking about. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Well,
what's our episode on today?
Yeah. So this kind of ties into what we're going to talk about today. So, using Google Business Workshop is all about, profile is about getting more customers. And that's our ultimate goal, is get more customers, get more leads, and get more business. But once you get those leads, you have to have some kind of process, some kind of flow that you're going to gather them in and then put them through your system and go do the estimate, or, get them to become a customer.
The process of getting a bid, estimate, whatever you want to call it, working with you as seamless and easy as possible. So if you already have a well thought out process for this, it's going to make it not only easier for you, but it's going to be a more enjoyable experience for your customer.
Yeah. And one of the stats we looked up is actually says businesses with a standardized sales process see up to a 28% increase in revenue. So 28% increase in revenue just by having this process in place. And the more you use it, the more refined it's going to become, and the better it's going to be.
Well, it becomes like a little well-worn path. When you go on a hike and you can tell where you can tell where the paths are because they're well-worn, and that's what you want to happen in your business. You want a very well-worn path of, this is when customers first engage with us, this is how we collect their information. This is how we go forward. This is how we get the job. This is how we do everything. That way, everybody knows what's going on. Like I said, it makes it easier for you. You're not scrambling around, trying to remember things. And, oh my gosh, where'd I put that? I forgot. I don't know. Did they get a call back? I don't remember.
Exactly. I actually call it a roadmap in here, and it's like a roadmap. And you may have heard people call things like sales funnels, and it looks like a funnel and it gathers people in.
Same
and
thing.
I like to think of it more of an hourglass shape, because we gather their leads in, we refine them down, we get them down, and they become a customer. But we're not done there. We still want to reach out, and this is part of the process. And I'll go through that a little bit today, because it's a whole continuous process. Even after they become a customer, we want to do things to increase revenue through them, to reach back out to them, to get more business out of them. So that, to me, a funnel ends and then stops, and that's it. We should not be thinking customers as like a one-off type of service. Sometimes they are, but there's things I think you can do to resell to them and to get more money out of every customer. So again, we want to think about everything that we do with our customers as a sales process. And we want to look through the eyes of the customer when doing this. Think about them more so than thinking about what you need to do on your back end, because
Well, you still need to do all that on the back end for you.
But you need to look at everything through the eyes of the customers, how they are seeing it, how it's going to. Don't not do the things
for the customers, yeah.
Yeah, so you need to have things in place of how you speak to the customer. So we'll start off, the customers searching for you. They're searching for you on Google Business.
They find your Google Business profile.
Account. And, they search you up. Well, then how do you collect that information? How do they get in touch with you? Do they go to your website? Do they call you? Do they fill out a form? Whatever it is, you need to think about this. How do you want people to come through? And you can have multiple starting points. Don't get me wrong. You can have a form on your website. They can call you, whatever it is. But each one of those should be its own funnel or their own path that they're going down. So they call you. What information are you collecting from them? Whoever's answering the phone, do you have a process, a script that they go through every single time?
That way all the information is collected.
Yep.
Because whether it's you or you have a designer or whoever the information goes to next, then they won't be irritated that whoever took the call didn't take down all of the information.
Yes.
We have lived this life. I don't how many times, your dad or somebody would be getting mad because, why didn't you ask this? Why didn't you ask that? It's because the person who's answering the phone, they might not know or they might just forget. And so if it's not a well-worn process, or if it's not written down, maybe they just didn't know that on that certain type of job, well, this is what you need to ask. And so have a process for it. That it just saves a whole bunch of hurt feelings and grumbling. Because it will get done with the information that you actually want.
Yeah, and the other thing too, when you're doing that, is you can pre-qualify that customer by asking the right questions to see if what they want to do fits in line with how much their budget is, or if you even do that type of work. There's no point in going out and visiting somebody to do an estimate and they don't even do that type of work. So part of this funnel that we need to be going through, this process we're going through, we need to ask questions, ask the appropriate questions, and go through that. So to me, that's the first part. We're catching that person, we're catching them through either Google and then through phone call or through a form on your website, whatever it is. We need to think about that and how they go through it. So they do as a form. Again, what questions are you asking? How are you collecting pictures, or are they emailing this to you? How is this getting sent to you? That's the first part. And then after that, we need to be able to, whether it's, because everybody has something different, whether you reach out to the customer personally and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, I know we have a meeting set up for this time, or we need to set up a meeting, whatever it is, we need to figure out some kind of path from there and what process they're going to go through there. One of the things we teach inside our program, we just did this a few months back, we taught this whole sales process, is before you even go out, and this is more for landscaping type work, not necessarily like a mowing service, but you can relate to this, you can add some stuff to this, but if you're going to go out to visit somebody for like a landscaping project, hardscaping project, or something like that, you may want to provide some value before you even go out to do that estimate. And what I mean by that is creating some kind of email sequence that goes out to that person to let them know what to expect when you arrive there, what to expect throughout the whole process, who's going to be out there, and asking more questions, get more information. You can also send them information. So if it's to meet with them about a water feature, talk to them about things they need to think about with a water feature. There's tons of different things, but you need to have some path, something that they go through every single time. Again, we're being consistent with this, so this happens every single time. Now you might tweak it, you find this didn't work out so well or whatever, they didn't like it. But again, we're thinking of this roadmap, like Katie said, that they're going to go through. And then once you get out there to their site, What questions are you going to ask? What is the process that you go through and how do you go about doing it? Again, we need to think about every single step. And I always recommend that you write this stuff down. You should have this kind of planned out. And when you do this, like Katie said, you it's happening over and over. The cool thing about it is you can improve on it. So if your sales aren't doing so great, your close ratio isn't that great, what did I do wrong? What could I have done
well,
different?
what didn't go well,
And you
what
can
can I
change
do better to improve it?
Yeah, you can change part of that. And you can even ask the customer, after, they say they're not interested. Well, mind me asking, why didn't you go with us? And they might fill you in there. Well, I didn't feel safe, or I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know that safe isn't the right word, but they may not have felt comfortable with you. They didn't think you could have done a good job, whatever it is. Okay, what can you take from that? So having this path, going through every single step, allows you to not only get better, but to close more sales. So then, you give the customer an estimate and they say, well, I got to think about it, or, give me some time. I need to talk to my spouse, or whatever it is they say. There should be some kind of process after that. You follow up, because there's a lot of businesses don't do this. They don't follow up with the customers, and that's terrible. Just because they didn't say yes right then and there doesn't mean they don't want it. Maybe they thought it cost less than what it did. They weren't sure about that, or now there's something else that you brought up that they weren't aware of. So what is your follow-up process? And again, is that through emails? Is that phone calls? Whatever it is, you need to have some kind of process that you go through and make sure it makes sense for that customer. You're not going to, call them up afterwards and address some issue that they didn't even think of or bring up. If their objection was money, you're not going to bring up something else about it. So you have to think about this whole flow, this whole roadmap that you guys go through. And again, when you start doing this, it helps you improve the close ratio, improve your sales ability. And that's to me one of the big things with it.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $100 off, mention the $1 Million Landscaper podcast.
Now, when you're doing this, one of the best things you can do is having some kind of software to help you track all this. Because when you start doing this, you're going to have, this person you're reaching out to. You need to figure out where they're at and keep all that information straight and organized. And having some kind of tool like a CRM, or I used to use a spreadsheet for a long time. We had a spreadsheet that we used to track where that customer's at. But you need to have something in place that you can track where this customer is, where this customer's at. I need to follow up with this customer on this date.
And by where they're at, you mean where they're at in the sales process.
Yes.
Are they at the I still need to return the call phase?
Yes.
Are they at the I returned the call, but they didn't answer phase?
Mm-hmm.
Are we at the they've already approved, a time, but we just have to get out there phase? That's what he means by where they're at, and not like what city they're in.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
But a CRM software is excellent for this. And we've done other podcasts on CRM because I have some mixed feelings on what people think a CRM is. A CRM should be something that allows you to figure out, like I said, where they're at in the sales process and track it and put your notes and stuff like that. It's just not a place that you put the customer's name and information in. That's it. That's not a CRM. That doesn't do it. A CRM should help you with the sales process. So having something like that, and there's tons of different ones that you can make them an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is, just have something in place. I can't say that enough. And then just a couple of things when you're out there talking to the customer, you're talking to them on the phone, listen more than you talk. They feed you a lot of information. And I know, this is something I know I did early on, because part of it's because I didn't know and I was nervous or whatever. Was I would talk and tell them all the benefits and all this great stuff about whatever we were doing for them or could do for them. but I wasn't always listening. So sometimes stepping back and listening to what they have to say is very important, because you can jot that down and, you hear that they have a concern about this. Okay, well, then you can go back and address that concern.
Yes. Well, and then you can use their own words back at them. If you're at, like, say that the water feature, then they're like, I like to hear the bubbly, ripply sound of water. Then when you're selling them on it, you can be like, oh, and it's going to give you that bubbly, ripply sound. Like, just use their own words back at them, because that shows that you're listening, and that those are the words that click in their brain as what they want. If you're like, oh, it's going to give you the splish, splashy squish, they're like, well, I don't want the splish, splashy squish. I want the ripply, whatever I said. Yeah. And so it's little things like that you can pay attention to that will make the difference in your sales.
And one of the things through this process is when you're listening to them about certain things, that you hear a concern, and even if you don't know how to address it or you do address it, they still might have that little concern back in their head. So part of your sales process could be the follow-up, where you send them some kind of information, some educational material or something. Like we did a lot of water features. We always had the concern of algae, how to treat the algae. So I can send them a video, on how to treat the algae or how to combat it or whatever it is, because we're educating. And then they're like, oh, it's not so bad, and it's all about listening what they have and then tailor that follow-up message with that customer to address those issues. So.
Yeah, because you'd hate to lose out on a sale for something as minor as algae on your water feature. Like it's easy to fix. It'd be terrible to lose a sale over that.
Yeah. But again, we need to think about everything that we do from the point the customer's searching for you, going, whether it's finding you through a Facebook ad, Google ad, website, Google business, whatever it is, all the way through to, the customer signed the contract. We've gone out there, we've done the job, and now we can still continue this process. Like I said, afterwards, think of like an hourglass. Because now we can send them emails regularly, like educating about that product or service that you did for them. And then you can also let them know other services that you do. Like maybe they don't know you do lawn maintenance or fertilization or something like that. Whatever it is, you can educate them on this stuff and follow up with them. Because again, if we can sell them more, we increase the revenue per customer, which is very important. But you really need to, again, think about the whole process. Think of it from the customer's eyes of like, how you want to receive the material, how you want to be addressed, because it's, you may think it's good your way, but if it doesn't make sense,
how they want to be addressed, not you.
Yeah, sorry. How they want to be addressed. And I would recommend talking to somebody about this, share somebody outside of your realm that, listen, does this make sense to you? And, throw that idea around, because it's, again, if we're not consistent with it, that's where we start losing customers. We can't make adjustments because we're just, let's try this time. Let's try this time. We have no way to track it. And having this process written out makes it that much easier. And this is what we did inside of our academy. We actually had like a 30-some page document, which supplies you like the exact step-by-steps. We give you the scripts. We give you phone scripts, text scripts, all that stuff, what to say, how to say it, just to get you going, because sometimes we just don't know. Many of us got in this business because we know how to do the work. Not so great at selling sometimes, or we're okay.
It's a learned skill. I wouldn't beat yourself up if you're new at it or just starting. It's one of those things that you just have to go out and do it and do it and do it and do it some more, and you'll get better as you go along.
Yeah, well, and then it's just always learning, reading books and going to sales conferences and sales classes and stuff. There's all kinds of them. And it's all about
just remember, these people wouldn't have gotten a hold of you if they didn't want to purchase something.
Yes.
Because I know some people get kind of all like ooey gooey in their feels about selling. Yeah. But if these people didn't want something, they would not have contacted you.
Exactly.
And so it's okay. You're fine. You're like, everybody's like, nobody wants to come off like scammy or anything. And I don't think you're going to. When you think through your sales process, it'll show that you have a level of professionalism. Like when you're ready for their questions, when you're ready for that next thing, when you can explain to them, okay, well, once we sign paperwork, now here's what you can expect.
Yes.
The designer's going to get a hold of you, or the secretary, or whatever your process is. Yeah. Like here's the expected next steps. Yeah. Just showing that you've already thought that through shows you have a level of professionalism that others that haven't thought this through aren't going to have.
And even something you just said popped in my head. After you sold the project to the person, let them know what's going to happen when the crews show up. Well, how is that process going to go? That we're going to go tear this out. Like I always told people, we're doing a bigger water feature. it's going to look like a bomb has gone off because we're digging.
It is a
moving
big,
dirt.
muddy hole mess
Yeah.
until it's going to look ugly before it looks good.
Yeah. So just be patient. There's a process and here's what takes. But letting them know, because that's the huge thing. If we don't know what's going to happen next, well,
right.
what's going on?
And if you are a couple of weeks or even a month out on your work, please just let them know.
Yes.
And I only say this because my filter is my sister Carrie, who I referenced more than once in our podcast, but she always thinks that contractors have stolen her money and are never coming back. I don't know how many times I have talked her off the ledge where I'm like, when's the last time you heard from them? She'll be like, well, they were out here like last week, but they haven't called in 4 days. And I'm like, they're coming. They'll be. And I feel bad. I'm like, they'll be back. They're just not communicating. She's like one time she was literally ready to just like cut her losses because she had paid half down. It was when this happened to be with a decking contractor, but she was ready to cut her losses because they hadn't been out in like over a week. She was ready to cut her losses and have somebody else come and finish it. I'm like, no, stick it out, call them. It'll be fine. It ended up being fine, but she had no issue with the work they were doing, but their lack of communication on that job was so bad that she would never work with them again. She wouldn't recommend them to everybody. And so once again, if you keep communication even after you have signed paperwork as part of your process, you'll be better off.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about this too. We just at the fire station, I had to reach out for some epoxy floors, and some of the people were terrible, like the process. And some people never even called me back. Like I'd call and like,
well, that's like service industry wide. You hear that all the time. I can't get a contractor to call me back.
It is. But the funny thing is, I mean, this has been months now. We're still in the process. The fire department's going through the whole municipal thing. Side topic, but it's very slow. So I still have one person that's still reaching out to me, and this has been months now. And they actually resubmitted another proposal to me because we had to adjust the contract. Nobody else has reached out to me. So again, this person stayed consistent, stayed with that follow-up.
Because they probably have this in a CRM.
Yep.
Because a CRM, you can just put in there, email them or call them in 30 days, 15 days, whatever you want it to be. That way you don't have to remember to do it. Because I don't know about you all, but I can't remember anything. And so if it's not written down, I'll never remember to do it. But if you put it in there in a CRM, like Scott said, then you don't have to think about it. It'll just come up on your schedule. Ping, boom, I got to do this today.
Well, then the stuff that I talked about is some of the stuff they actually do. They followed up with me, and they actually, I'm assuming they had this in their CRM as like an automated follow-up sequence. Like they created these messages and was text and emails.
So they don't even have to think about it. They just schedule.
Some of it was set up like, hey, it's been 2 months since we reached out to you. Just want to see if you've given up on this project. And, it's those types of things that you can automate, which saves you time as a salesperson and owner. Can you do that? But
it's more communication than the next guy's doing.
Absolutely.
It's going to put you ahead of the pack.
But now we're going to go with that person probably because they followed up. So
as far as you know, everybody, the rest of them could have fallen off the face of the earth. Who even knows if they're still in business?
Yeah. So again, having this process, think it through and just work it step by step and just improve it all along the way. There's going to be mistakes. You're going to mess up here and there. But
refine as you go.
You have to adjust it, but you have to start somewhere. Again, if you just, you're out in the field and you answer the phone call and do it one way with one person and you do it another way with another person, you're not being consistent. And, it's very hard to figure out where you went wrong. So write it out. Again, look through the eyes of the customer and be consistent with it. So that's about all I have. If you guys are interested in something like this, we're going to be teaching this again here in a few months because people really enjoyed having that sales process and never thought about it this way. We lay it all out and we give this document with you for every step of the process and how to do this, from the lead qualification all the way through to the sales done and follow up with the customer afterwards. So get inside our inner circle. This is the type of stuff that we teach inside the inner circle. It's a great program about all this stuff. So yeah,
well, it's all stuff that we already messed up. And so we already messed it up. So we'll help you fix it. And it's just things that people don't think about, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're here to think about the things that you all haven't thought about yet. So
So go
on
check
that
out
note, check out, or don't forget that we have already thought through the Google Business Profile. That's on March 13th. So if you want a nice and free, easy tool that you can use to get yourself to rank higher on Google and start getting found in local searches, now is your chance to get that optimized on March 13th.
Yep. We'll put the links in the show notes and go check it out. All right. Thanks, guys, and hope you have a great day.